Chapter 17. This means war. "Joseph, wait!" Bethany shouted as she chased after her cousin.
There's no time to wait. They're here and they're gonna kill us.
Joseph shouted over his shoulder as he pushed the door open and ran outside. Bethany finally caught up to Joseph and turned him around to face her. "Joseph, calm down and listen to me," she shouted. Joseph looked at her for a while, ignoring all of the screaming around him before he took a deep breath and nodded.
Okay.
"You need to tell me what's going on. Who's coming?" Bethany asked, her eyes hard.
The council. They must have followed my scent here. So my greatest fear have came through after all.
Then he looked into her eyes, fear leaking out of him after he realized the truth.
My cover had been blown.
Shit. Bethany cursed as she released him from her vice grip. "What are we gonna do now?" she asked herself.
I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I'm gonna lead them away as far as possible and...
"I asked for a plan, not you committing suicide," she said sternly.
It's not suicide. You know I can handle myself just fine. Even if they caught me, which they won't, I'll still be able to fight my way out. But what if we already have Youngling?
Joseph stiffened as he turned around slowly. When he saw the owner of that voice, he growled, low and menacing. The person clicked his tongue.
Joseph, where are your manners? Growling? Such a werewolf thing to do.
Then an oh-so-familiar auburn hair pale man walked out from the shadow. "It's you again," Bethany growled.
We meet again, young Bethany. Say, did you see the little presents I left for you?
Bethany growled and took a step forward, but Joseph stopped her before she falls for his trap.
Don't. He's known for his manipulative words to make even the most of self-controlled person to lose their temper.
After that, Randolph, Sebastian, and Ramona came running towards them.
You okay?
Randolph asked once he's beside Bethany. "I'm fine," she said. The urge to shift was very tempting for her right now. "Let me have that bastard. I'm gonna paint that pale throat with a beautiful shade of red," Charlotte growled. The vampire chuckled.
It seems even though we have met quite a lot of times already, but I have yet told you my name.
The vampire grinned, sharp fangs peeking out.
My name is Adriana, one of the Night Council's member, and this time I'm here for something you have that belongs to us. We will never surrender to you. I thought we've already made it clear.
Sebastian growled.
Yes, but this time we're here for the little new recruit that magically appeared one day and somehow magically escaped my sight for these past few years,
he said as he looked directly at Joseph. Bethany and Sebastian growled as they moved protectively in front of Joseph.
Well, if he's able to achieve that high level of skill, then he mustn't be a normal vampire, right?
Lysiani grinned. Then his face turned hard. His grin disappeared.
Or he's no vampire at all.
Joseph's eyes widened at that statement.
Even though I have never met you personally, but I still heard about you. You may have tricked my underlings, but you can never trick me,
Lysiani said. He took a step forward, then he was suddenly standing right in front of Bethany and Sebastian. Their eyes widened simultaneously. What the? They barely had enough time to defend themselves before they were both kicked sideways into different trees opposite each other.
Bethany, Sebastian,
Joseph exclaimed. Behind him, Randolph and Ramona growled. They shifted into their wolf form as they charged at Lysiani, but he disappeared again before they had a chance to bite him. Then he was suddenly behind Joseph. He quickly jumped out of the way as Lysiani brought his fist down and punched the ground. Cracks formed at where he punched.
My. Quite good reflexes you have there. Same goes to your cousins, I believe.
True to his point, Bethany and Sebastian stood up, rubbing their forearms where they got kicked. "That was a crazy powerful kick. I can already feel a bruise forming," Bethany said, rubbing her forearm that took most of the kick.
Bastard,
Sebastian huffed. The stoner twin padded towards their mate. Randolph licked at the bruise and Bethany felt the pain eased a little. "Thanks," she smiled at him. Randolph gave a happy bark before he turned his head towards Lysiani and growled.
You're not escaping this time, bastard,
Sebastian said, Ramona by his side. Lysiani gave a small laugh.
Such naive children. You think you can stop me? You're 100 years too early to think that. No need,
Joseph said. Suddenly, a soft glow started forming beside Bethany and Sebastian. Then the bags of weapons that they packed before appeared.
They are already at your level.
Lisiani jumped out of the way before a few knives came flying towards him, but he did not have enough time to dodge the bullet that came raining at him. A bullet managed to nick his cheek as blood flowed freely from the open wound. He glanced at the twin and saw them armed to the teeth. His eyes then zeroed at the traitor before him and saw him too had armed with his own weapon of choice. He clicked his tongue, then he gave a sharp whistle. Then, from a distance, dozens and dozens of both rogues and vampires came running out from the woods and towards the pack house.
That bastard!
Randolph thought. Now he's torn between helping his mate or the pack. Go. Randolph snapped his head towards Bethany and saw her smiling at him. We can handle him just fine. Randolph barked before he ran towards the pack house, Ramona hot on his trail. Now, let's settle this, shall we? Bethany said, and she flung a few knives at him. Lisiani managed to dodge again, but then Bethany was immediately in front of him, daggers in both hands that was raised above her head. Then she brought them down in an X motion. With that, she successfully made Lisiani lose his balance with a new wound on his front. Lisiani clicked his tongue before he raised his leg to kick her out of the way. Bethany raised a few daggers to her face before Lisiani's leg connected with her daggers, and she flew a few feet away. Right after that, bullets came flying towards him. He gracefully dodged every single one of them with unbelievable flexibility. Sebastian cursed as he discarded his pistols for a shotgun. He put them back together with an incredible speed, and in seconds he was already shooting at Lisiani.
Damn bastard, stay still.
Sebastian growled at Lisiani that looks like he was dancing in a shower of bullets. Lisiani grinned at Sebastian, and because of that he didn't realize Joseph had locked onto him and shoot his calf with his sniper rifle. He went down on one knee.
Shit.
His eyes widened when he saw Sebastian aiming at him.
No dodging this now,
Sebastian said as he fired his shotgun. He saw a flash of red before Lisiani disappeared again.
What?
Sebastian exclaimed. Somewhere above a tree where Joseph's hiding froze when he saw the newcomer.
Lady Adriana, shit, this is bad.
He whispered. He took off from his branch and landed beside Sebastian, Bethany by his other side. They were hiding behind a tree where they hid their weapon bags. Geez, big brother, you're such an idiot sometimes. A pale woman with auburn locks and red eyes sighed.
Adriana, why are you doing here?
Lisiani snarled. Helping you, duh. You seem like you need some help. Adriana mocked, waving her hand at his calf.
I don't need help, Adri. Now go back home.
Lisiani said as he tried to stand up. No, it's clear you're injured, brother. Adriana argued.
Who's the newcomer, Joseph?
Sebastian asked as he changed his shotgun's ammo.
That's Lady Adriana, Lord Lisiani's younger sister and another member of the Night Council.
Another one? Don't tell me she's also gonna go, you're 100 too early, too. Bethany mumbled as she sheathed her daggers and pulled out a katana from her bag. She unsheathed it and threw the cover back into the bag.
Tell me about it,
Sebastian mumbled back. Joseph shook his head at them with a smile. Only they can joke when they were in a crisis. You! Adriana suddenly shouted as she pointed at Bethany. You are gonna regret you hurt my big bro, you mutt. A tick mark appeared on her forehead as a dark aura started forming around her that even Sebastian and Joseph shuffled away.
She's so dead,
they thought. What did you just say? Bethany asked with a creepy smile on her face. I take back what I say, Bethany said, the creepy smile still present. This one is even worse, she said before she launched towards Adriana and brought her katana down. Adriana dodged, but she wasn't as fast as her brother, so Bethany was able to kick her stomach when she missed. Adriana went flying a few feet before she twisted her body and landed gracefully on her feet. Damn vampires and their graceful shit, Bethany growled.
She's frustrated now,
Sebastian and Joseph thought. Bethany quickly used her katana to block Lisiani's kick. She was pushed back a few inches before she jumped back. Freaking banana still able to move even with a leg down? Ugh, but of course, he's a freaking vampire, Bethany ranted while watching Lisiani standing up. She raised her katana to block again when he ran to her, as he unsheathed his sword that was hanging by his waist, and they clashed.
You kicked my sister.
You stole my uncle. Now we're even. In the distance, Adriana started running towards them, but was stopped when Joseph jumped in front of her. He brought out his daggers and took his stance. "You want to dance?" Adriana asked as she pulled out her Japanese war fan. "Let's dance." Sebastian was about to help them when dozens of rogues and vampires came running towards them.
Oh, come on.
He said as he took aim and started shooting every single one of them dead on the forehead. He kept shooting and changing his gun without missing a beat, all of them dead before they even reached their area. "You're good, kid. What's your name?" Adriana asked Joseph as she dodged every one of his slash. Joseph glared at her but ignored her as he continued to slash at her. "Playing mute, aye?" She smirked and caught one of his daggers with her fan. He wasted no time to release his dagger and brought out his pistol and took aim.
I'm not. You're just too loud that you can't hear me speak,
he said with a smirk. Adriana froze at that sentence. The face of a beautiful young woman flashed through her brain wearing the same smirk.
Big sis?
Then he fired his gun. Lisiani turned to his sister when he heard a gun being fired behind him. Adriana was still frozen. Memories came flooding into her brain. Memories of her, Lisiani, and a young woman.
Adriana!
Lisiani shouted Adriana's name. Adriana blinked a few times before she ducked, narrowly missing the bullet. Lisiani received a slash to his chin at his distraction towards his sister. Bethany's eyes narrowed at Adriana. That's weird.
Bethany!
She was so into her thoughts that she didn't even realize Lisiani was going to kick her. Bang! Lisiani was shot in the shoulder. Without moving from his spot, Sebastian had shot him with Joseph's sniper. He cursed as he disappeared, then appeared beside Adriana.
We're leaving,
he said, picking up Adriana before he disappeared with her. Both Sebastian and Joseph lowered their guns and went to Bethany.
What happened? Why did you get distracted?
Sebastian asked once he's by her side. I'll ask the same question to that vampire, Bethany said, looking at the spot where Lisiani disappeared with his sister. Why was Adriana distracted?
I don't know about that, but one thing I know is a war is coming, and it's coming very soon,
Joseph said. Sebastian saw something shining on the ground and went to pick it up. Maybe, but I can't shake off the feeling that something's not right, Bethany said.
What do you mean?
Joseph asked. I feel like we're being kept in the dark about something important.
I think instead of being kept in the dark, it's more like we've been played,
Sebastian said, inspecting the item he picked up.
all of us.
What do you mean? Sebastian tossed Bethany the item he found. She looked at it, then her eyes widened. But this
Was from King Erdrick's palace, the one that we've seen in every corridor. What is it?
Joseph peeked at the item and his brow furrowed.
A wax seal stamp? It holds the Golden Wolf Pack's crest.
Sebastian said.
Guys, do you know what this means?
He continued, looking at them.
We have a mole in our ranks.
Joseph said gravely.